So I, like many of you, woke up this morning to find out the news that DeAndre Hopkins, one of the most dominant wide receivers from this generation, was traded from the Titans to the Chiefs for a conditional 5th-round pick. Did we not learn anything from when the Oakland Raiders thought Randy Moss was old and washed, and then they traded him away to the peak dynasty New England Patriots, and then Randy Moss went on to break the single-season record for receiving touchdowns? Do we not remember that? So we with this little bit of news, with the plan of rebuilding, realistically, every team in the NFL, what better time than to take over the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs after making this type of move and upping the challenge a little bit. In this rebuild, as in all of our realistic rebuilds, the parameters are we got to win a Super Bowl in minimum of 5 seasons and a maximum of 10. I almost feel like we need to win. This is going to be a 5-year rebuild. Like, I was thinking 3 Super Bowls, 4 Super. Do we have to win a Super Bowl every year in these 5 years for this to truly be a challenge, for this to truly go down as a successful rebuild? I'm thinking about it. I was going to say also let's throw in a 17-0 perfect regular season. Those are fluky, but I definitely think we could go and chase 5 straight Super Bowls. So unless you've been living under a rock, you know what the Kansas City Chiefs' healthy roster looks like. You look at the offensive line, interior is about as good as it gets. Tackle positions could be weak. Juwan Taylor, in terms of contract and play, is probably the first piece of bad business the Chiefs have done in a minute. You got Suamadia, who's got thrown to the Wolves, has the ups and downs, growing pains of a rookie. But many people regarded him from that draft class as having one of the higher ceilings for the tackles. So the fact that we're already starting with like a 75 star dev rookie, sky's the limit at that spot. You got Travis Kelce, who, you know, he is going to regress, but if you're going to regress in this game, you might as well start as a 99 X factor. Mahomes is Mahomes. What are we going to say? You got a deep running back room. You got Kareem Hunt, who's come off the street and looks like he's never left. You got Isaiah Pacheco, who should, and it sounds like will return from his injury late in the regular season. As much as I hate the Chiefs, and as much as I firmly believe everyone else needs to start hating the Chiefs the same way we hated the Dynasty Patriots, I feel like it hasn't got to that level yet. But as much as I hate the Chiefs, I love the way they build their roster. They have players like Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, obvious, I want my team to draft him, and he goes to the Chiefs. Isaiah Pacheco was the easiest draft like you're in Madden pick of all time. Oh, you got the 200-pound fastest running back from the combine. Oh, that guy's probably going to be all right. That's what the Chiefs did. And then now he's one of the most fun runners to watch in the entirety of the league. And we all kind of go, oh, doom and gloom for Mahomes at wide receiver. He needed to make the trade to get DeAndre Hopkins. He got Rashee Rice. You invested another first-round pick in Xavier Worthy, who's an absolute cheat code. You know, when this thing gets full healthy, now you bring in DeAndre Hopkins, who, yeah, DeAndre Hopkins is not, and I don't know if he'll be rocking 85. He probably will not. But I still think there's a productive player in there. I mean, how can you write him off with the suspect play we've seen in Tennessee for the last 2 years? Just assume that he's garbage. I feel like maybe he's not going to be 120. You know, it's not going to be like Houston Texan DeAndre Hopkins. You know what I'm saying? But him landing in this environment is pretty damn scary going to an already undefeated team. Now looking at the defense, obviously it's head by Steve Spagnuolo, who's what? Top 10 coordinator of all time, top 10 defensive coordinator of all time, whatever you want to give it to him. They got Karlaftis, who's emerging as big-time pass rusher. You get all-world D-tackle and Chris Jones. You got some great role players. Outside of that, the linebacking core of Tranquil Bolton and Chenal is about as good as it gets. It leaves Chenal very much going to the school of Isaiah Pacheco of C4 drafting. Why are we all overthinking this? Leo Chenal was like 260 pounds and ran like a 4.4. No, let the Chiefs have him. You know, it's unbelievable. We got Reed. You got Hicks. I love that pick out of Washington State. One of the best picks of the draft. They got Trent McDuffie. That was another one of those like, most people were talking about Trent McDuffie as the best corner in the class, and he just falls to the Chiefs when they need a corner. Like, it's unbelievable the amount of luck. And I don't want to say it's making their own luck. Just the amount of times the draft board fell the way of the Kansas City Chiefs at a position in need. It's one of those like, goddamn, man. God damn it. Corner room maybe doesn't have outside of that a whole lot of crazy depth. Connor is like a pure DB, nickel, safety type hybrid. So, I mean, if we are kind of viewing this long-term, right tackle is a position in need. Maybe a true Travis Kelce successor is a position in need. Depth at D tackle is a position in need. Upgrading at corner. And there's definitely going to be an element of I can't afford to pay everybody. So we're definitely going to be losing some impactful starters over the next 5 seasons. But I think embracing the challenge. I want to win a Super Bowl every single year of this rebuild. I think that's the only way we can make this interesting. Because we know what the Chiefs are in real life. We sure as hell know what the Chiefs are in Madden. Let's go flex the muscles of this team. Now that we got DeAndre freaking Hopkins. Peak DeAndre. For at least 2 years, he's going to be sick. If not more. We're going to bring it here live a couple weeks later. We're still undefeated 8-0. Baker Mayfield within 1 point of ruining our undefeated season. We get a Defensive Player of the Week performance from Justin Reed. 3 tackles, interception, a forced fumble, 2 forced fumble recoveries. So it's kind of a old school Baker Mayfield performance of not protecting the football. But here's really going to be the first kind of like, is this going to be when it gets hard? I got to look at our contracts. Are we going to be losing a lot? Can we not afford it? It's, ooh. Okay, for the sake of this rebuild, because he's the guy that would kind of spark the, all right, let's do this. I think we got to bring back DeAndre Hopkins. So if we bring back DeAndre Hopkins, Bolton, Smith, and Humphrey all are interested in also staying. Humphrey's a lot more affordable. So we'll get Humphrey locked in. We'll pay D-Hop. And I'm going to be optimistic that at some point, like even just at the end of this year, where we get that salary cap raising up, we should be also able to at least get one of Trey Smith or Bolton. Similar price points. Honestly, I'd probably say Trey Smith would be the direction I go because he can also play tackle. Guard tackle. He played tackle in college. Was a beast at Tennessee. So I think we'll consider that. But first and foremost, we'll get DeAndre Hopkins signed because he's the man of the hour. And there we go. We got DeAndre Hopkins re-signed for 3 seasons, pretty much ensuring he will retire a Kansas City Chief. And there we go. I mean, one of the only hopes, I think, you look at the remaining stretch, who can beat the Chiefs? Josh Allen's been on fire this year. Joe Brady got that Bills offense humming, and they actually knock us down a peg as we fall to 9-1, losing 24-20 to Josh Allen and the Bills. We've got hot after that loss to the Bills, where we've got Week 12 Mahomes Player of the Week, Week 13 Mahomes Player of the Week, Week 14 Mahomes Player of the Week. The loss for the Bills has seemingly made this team even stronger. Mahomes gets his 4th straight Offensive Player of the Week. We beat the Browns. So at the end of the season, we slipped up, and I definitely, in a very annoying loss, final game of the regular season against the Broncos. We lost 2 weeks earlier to the Houston Texans, who I think, much like the Buffalo Bills, the Texans can get that thing sorted out probably for all of us that are just anybody but the Chiefs. Texans are one of those ones that will build up and say, like, maybe they could do it. But we go 14-3, and I was surprised that we had to go in the wildcard. That was not good enough for a first-round bye. 14-3, and then I looked at it. We are the 3 seed. The Jets go 15-2 in this sim. The Ravens go 16-1. Really? It's already getting sprinkled with some shenanigans. I've found anytime you do an overpowered team, right? Like when we rebuild the Cowboys, they were nowhere near as good that when we were controlling them than if you're just any other team and you're just kind of looking out the side like, oh my God, Dallas keeps going on deep playoff runs and making Super Bowls left, right, and center. But when I was Dallas, that wasn't the case. And of course, I picked the Chiefs, the biggest cheat code I've ever seen as a content creator in a football video game. And of course, we go 14-3. And it's like, oh, you're actually the 3 seed. All right, thanks for that. Looking at our ratings here, though, look at that. Mahomes, got to run away with MVP there. Maybe not, though. Derrick Henry has 32 rushing touchdowns. Well, we get 5,300 yards and 52 touchdowns from Mahomes. It's a quarterback award. Probably feel pretty good about him getting that. Running the ball, 1,100 yards, 15 touchdowns from Pacheco. Mahomes also threw in another 6 rushing touchdowns, so almost a 60 bomb of total touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 104 catches, 1,200 yards, 6 touchdowns. DeAndre Hopkins, what kind of weapon? Because I can imagine the numbers that he had while he was in Tennessee, not great. But comes here to Kansas City, finishes the season, 94 catches, almost 1,200 yards, and 17 touchdowns leading the team. That is the kind of, and on top of that, he has the mentor player tag. So that's Xavier Worthy, the rookie, who who had almost 100 catches, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. He's getting extra XP. Rashee Rice, second-year player, who probably should have been arrested and suspended, but he's not because of the Chiefs. He got 10 touchdowns, 900 yards, and extra XP from having DeAndre Hopkins here. So there's a lot of value by having D-Hop on the roster outside of the production and 17 touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, Leo Chenal led the team in tackles. We had 16.5 sacks for Chris Jones, only 2.5 for Karlaftis, but 24 TFLs. If you're going to put up pretty low sack numbers, you put up potentially league-leading TFL numbers, so I'm happy with that. 5 picks, Justin Reed, 4 from Jalen Watson. Yeah, again, I guess technically, if we're nitpicking, could have had better interception numbers across the board. MVP goes to Patrick Mahomes, obviously. We also get Mahomes getting quarterback of the year and Joe Thuney getting lineman of the year as our only award winners. So we have our first L of the season, a rematch at Arrowhead against the Buffalo Bills here in the wild card round, having to run the gauntlet. First challenge passed. To take on the Jets, the one, what are they, the 1 seed? 2 seed? 2 seed. Look at that. 1 point, thin margin. And if this happened again, if another agonizing defeat from the Bills against the Chiefs, I think Josh Allen loses his mind, honestly. 3 touchdowns, no picks from Holmes. Cheat code. Kelsey, Rice, and Worthy all with touchdowns. And defensively, we had the lone turnover. Trent McDuffie, one of the best corners in the league, getting the job done. Gotta say, for McDuffie to only have a star dev trait, I don't want to say anything about making the Chiefs even better. Probably, debatably, one of the worst given dev traits in this game. That he is only a star, not a superstar, is quite bizarre to me. Anyways, lock it in. I mean, it'd be fun to take on the Ravens. They only, 16-1. That's an interesting test. But we got to handle business. The Jets are on fire. The addition of Devontae Adams in this situation clearly has put that team over the top. I mean, we saw when we put Devontae Adams on the Jets. Go check out that rebuild real quick. We got 31 receiving touchdowns from Devontae Adams in the slot. It was a cheat code. I've never seen numbers like that. So obviously that's kind of going on there for the Jets. But you're not built like the Chiefs. Sorry. And we do get that matchup we were saying against the Ravens 1 seed. But look at that. Shootout. 42-39. Yeah, a little bit inflated with some garbage time stats here by the Jets getting 22 in the 4th. But big time performance here. We got some turnovers. Mahomes 4 touchdowns. Did throw a pick, but the positives there definitely outweigh the negatives. Kelsey unstoppable, just heating up at the right time in the playoffs. 12 catches, 142 yards, 2 tuds. D-Hop with a tud. Xavier Worthy with a tud. Defensively, we got a sack from Dana, pick from Tranquil, and something that is known as Chris Roland Wallace. Biggie Smalls out there. Let's go. 42-39. We get the, I mean, what's the rate? It's just rushing. You got to be rushing. We saw the numbers from Derrick Henry. Just absurd video game numbers. Number 1 overall offense. Average 141 on the ground. But we also have the best rushing defense. So we are quite possibly the worst matchup for an S-tier Baltimore Ravens team for whatever that ends up being worth. Now, you know what? We're going to clearly show respect to them. We'll auto-upgrade our team. Make sure we can put the best foot forward. Karlaftis, starter. 86. He's looking better. The Super Bowl on the line. I think it's going to be very difficult, even with the Chiefs, to win 5-5. I'll give myself 1 year that we could take it now. 4 Super Bowls in 5-year minimum. And this will be a failure, but I really want 5-5. And look at that. 41-27. Doesn't even matter. Get a player of the week performance. It's probably from Mahomes. 3 touchdowns. No picks. Pacheco went off. Nuclear. 164 yards. Kelsey with 2 touchdowns. Worthy with a touchdown. Defensively, Enudike Uzuma gets the only sack, and we don't even have to play the Cowboys. Thank you, Minnesota. Sam Darnold on an all-time run. The 7th seed. The Cinderella story. Trying to prevent the Chiefs from winning 3 straight Super Bowls. Who got player of the week? Was it Mahomes? Of course it was Mahomes. Actually, it's J.J. McCarthy in this situation. Okay. Let's be honest. I think we all know how this game's going to go. I'll give credit where credit's due. Not too often you see a team that went 8-9 in the regular season appear in a Super Bowl. But we're going to thump them. I think we beat them by at least 14 points. All right, the Chiefs just live in the Super Bowl. And I'm sure the league allowing them just to get DeAndre Hopkins for free is not going to sit well. But that open and drive, Minnesota just marches down the field and goes, all right, we'll just go score a touchdown here. Don't worry about it. Score a couple touchdowns. Don't worry about it. And I mean, at no point I think I need to hop in and assist the Chiefs. But interesting that the Vikings are kind of bringing it to us here. 17-17, everything to play for in the fourth quarter. And credit where credit's due. This Brian Flores defense has made the Chiefs settle for field goals. And then we get a turnover. What? Interception. Byron Murphy Jr. turns over Mahomes. Surely they're not going to go down the field and score a walk-off touchdown to win the Super Bowl. That is not what the Kansas City Chiefs, Andy Reid, and Patrick Mahomes... Oh, that's what they did. Wow. Well, we got a shot at getting 5-5. Got a good roll. I mean, Vikings played us close. I thought we might lose that one for a second there. But truth be told, you get a juiced up Chiefs team and you go to the Super Bowl against a below 500 Cinderella. You're taking the Chiefs that's a good roll. We didn't get the Cowboys. We didn't get the Eagles, the Packers, the Niners. We got a below 500 Vikings team. And there you go. 3 in a row. Now on to 4. So the only bad news in our pursuit of 5-5 is we did not get the bump. It's like the 5th-year option on both Karlaftis and McDuffie. We did not get the bump up here that we were really looking for in terms of salary cap, as we have no chance of bringing back Trey Smith. We have no chance of bringing back Nick Bolton. Probably don't even have, can't bring back Just. So we're going to have quite a bit of roster turnover. So the pressure's honestly going to be on me to have a hell of a draft, because we're going to have to find a new starter right guard. Probably could survive at linebacker. We have Leo Chenal and Drew Tranquil signed, and a lot of times you can get by with just 2 linebackers, play a lot of, nickel, and they're just, mostly on the field. We got a lot of depth at safety. I feel okay there. We're going to take a decent hit at wide receiver. I mean, Hollywood Brown not need. We got DeAndre Hopkins. We're going to be fine there. Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy long term. But definitely need to get a starter at guard. Probably want to add a linebacker. All right, I picked 32 in the first round of the 2025 NFL Draft. Where are the well, we got to go interior line. That is where I did my focus scouting. Let's see what we got. We have nothing left at left tackle. Nothing left at left guard. So there's three of my scouted picks. We do have Monheim at center. He's never really played guard. I'm pretty sure he started as a tackle. Then he played a little bit of center. Honestly, we might just have to draft him and just put him there. Plug and play, cross-train, whatever you want to break it down. Right guard, we scouted Jaden Roberts out of Alabama. Not great value. Right tackle, we have Emory Jones at 6'6", 320. Now that, I mean, come on. That's just best lineman available. We'll put him on the inside. 29 true value, get him at 32, and he has a dev trait because it's a Kansas City Chiefs first-round pick. That's what they kind of do. And speaking of Travis Kelce replacements, we have Mason Taylor here out of LSU. We'll double up on the LSU boys. I think the value at linebacker is going to be the next round. So we got Mason Taylor, son of great Jason Taylor. Even though he looks 40 of that right there. 57 in true value, get him at 64. And of course, another dev trait because that's what the Kansas City Chiefs do. Oh, and look, the linebacker I was kind of thinking about wanting to get, still there. Sonny Styles, 6'4", 235 at Ohio State. A-zone coverage, elite speed. It follows and really much ticks all the boxes of what Chiefs like to look for in a player, which is the same way I like the draft. And not necessarily the value at 72, but we get a big-time athlete with, of course, another dev trait. Another stud here. Jabbar Muhammad was insane at Washington. Now, he's scrappy, undersized. Where did we hear that before? Oh, just Trent McDuffie. B-zone coverage, CC, B catching. 5'10", 185. Maybe not a big-time athlete, but a very good player. And I think we just don't have ridiculous depth at corner. BPA being a corner, 88 in true value, getting that 96. No dev trait, but I think the rating's going to be pretty good. Taking a peek at our draft recap, stellar class here for Kansas City. We get the Canadian who's tearing up, honestly. And it's very biased because I've now adopted Indiana as my, hopefully, bandwagon college football playoff team, because Indiana has one of the closest coach to like Mike Leach, personality-wise, that I've seen in a minute, and Kurt Cignetti. And Curtis Rourke, Canadian. His brother Nathan Rourke was like a preseason all-star, I think like, what, 2 years ago for the Jags. I think, honestly, Curtis Rourke's top 5 quarterback in the draft class coming up. He's playing like it anyways. He's been more impressed. I've been more impressed with some of the plays Curtis Rourke has made than Quinn Ewers and Carson Beck and Connor Weigman from A&M. Like, Rourke, someone to watch. And obviously, I say that, full disclosure, there's likely a lot of patriotism bias going into that. We got Taj Brooks, power back out of Texas Tech. Ignore the fact he had 84 speed. 70 rating in the 4th round is good. Muhammad, 71. We get 68 on Sonny Styles, but he did have the hidden dev trait, which now, of course, with the bug and or, I don't know if this was a feature update, you get to see the dev traits right away. He's only a star dev. Mason Taylor at 73 has a dev trait, also a star dev. I will say that this custom draft class that we've used for all of our realistic rebuilds, they're, I don't want to say stingy. Maybe the right kind of stingy. They're the right kind of stingy with dev traits, as I don't think I've got Travis Hunter, was like our only superstar, I think, so far. And Emory Jones here is going to be a 75, and it is one of those ones, like, maybe the right call is to keep him at right tackle long term and move someone in like Jawan Taylor as like a stopgap at guard until we can get out of that contract. I think that's what we're going to do, because there's obviously more value in being a tackle than a guard. All right, we're 4-3, midway point, year 2 on our path to 4 straight Super Bowls. 4-3, don't love that. I'm going to be completely honest with you, but we're working our way through it. Contract last time was the only bad news, and I think it's going to be more of the bad news. We have $20 million. And Brian Cook's a starter. Can't pay him. Travis Kelce, Joe Tooney, Jalen Watson, Leo Chenal, and Pop Pacheco. Huh. Honestly, Kelce's a freaking cheat code, so I guess he'll get the money. In a perfect world, I can also bring back Chenal, but he's going to be looking for edge rush money because that's just the nature of the beast there. Could move into middle linebacker. I mean, technically, we don't have a middle linebacker. So I'm going to do that, and we'll see if that number comes down from 74. It's still going to be a lot. I still probably won't be able to re-sign it, but technically, I do have him in the middle linebacker spot, and it literally goes down $1 million. It's just unreal. All right, we're going to bring in here week 18. We're 9-7. The Chargers are 9-7. This game here is for the AFC West title. If we lose, there's a logjam at 9. I did give myself the grace period of 4 and 5. 4 Super Bowls and 5 would be that minimum. The borderline minimum. But luckily, we don't have to worry about it. We beat the Chargers 28-17. We go 10-7 and get our 2nd straight AFC West title. But man, the Ravens 16-1 last year, 15-2 this year. Dang. Look at the stats. Patrick Mahomes, 4th in yards, 4th in touchdowns. So a little bit of down year by his standards. 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns for Pacheco as he hits free agency. We got 9 rushing touchdowns from Mahomes, so that still gives him his 50 on the year. Receiving DeAndre Hopkins, 92 catches, 1,100 yards, 17 touchdowns. Rashee Rice, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. 9-4 for Kelce. He's slowing down a little bit. Xavier Worthy with a decent season as a 4th option. Leo Chenal led the team in tackles. Chris Jones, I mean, the sacks are definitely down across the board. Interception numbers have never been great. Actually doesn't win the MVP. He just makes in the top 5. Lamar Jackson is league MVP, his 3rd of his career. We actually finished the year with no award winners, which is surprising, especially with a roster this talented. But at least we get home field advantage in the wildcard round against the 11-6 Miami Dolphins, who have the number 2 defense in the league, number 2 passing defense. So that's led by Jalen Ramsey. Tyreek Hill revenge game. And it's been an unpredictable year. I don't really know how far we're going to go, but we do at least handle business there and set up a matchup against the very, very good Baltimore Ravens. 4 touchdown, almost 400-yard performance from Patrick Mahomes. Let's go to the big board here on the playoff bracket as the Chiefs' defeat and dispose wasn't even close. 38-10 over the Miami Dolphins, setting up a big-time matchup, blockbuster here in the four best teams in the AFC. And it's the goddamn Ravens again. Last year's matchup in the championship game, 41-27, I think it was. The Chiefs won. Repeat of that. Maybe we just got their number. They're always going to be good in the regular season. They just can't beat the cheat code. Kansas City cheat codes. That should be their name. And there we go. There's another win. We got the Bills, team who has actually beaten us so far. They went 14-3. Mahomes with a 3-touchdown performance. Drew Tranquil with a defensive player of the week. 2 forced fumbles. Recovered both of them. So Lamar Jackson, unfortunately, not playing clutch for his dominant team as we get by. I mean, again, it wasn't that close. 10-point game. 27-17. Lamar Jackson, no touchdowns, 2 picks, as we saw. Damn. McDuffie with 2. I mean, again, put some respect on Trent McDuffie. Absolute beast of a corner. And we get the Bills, who you look at those ratings, pretty good. I mean, they line up defensively. They got a shot. I think you have to have like a top 5 consistent sim defense to have a chance of hell against Kansas City. In my opinion, if I'm rating defensive playbooks, Buffalo's probably my number 1. Things aren't working, and I got to change my defensive scheme. I'm looking for a Bills DC on the open market. 14-3 for the Bills. Can Josh, I mean, it's almost like I'm betting against, or rooting against myself. Can Josh Allen finally beat the Chiefs? Or the Chiefs going to line things up for a 4th straight Super Bowl win? Philadelphia defeats the Packers on the other side of the bracket, 37-31. And we got a weekly award winners. Doesn't always mean that we won. Trent McDuffie has 4 picks in 2 games. 6 touchdowns from Patrick Mahomes. I mean, there's a chance we lost this one, but I don't think so. 42-28. Wow. I mean, you hate to see it. Again, I think like Josh Allen would lose his mind. It would be cool to see maybe DeAndre Hopkins have a little bit better of a performance. We get the sack from Devin White, who's like linebacker 5 on the team. 2 picks there for Trent McDuffie, and the Super Bowl has been set. The rematch from 2 years ago. Philadelphia in a game where, honestly, Jalen Hurts was the best player on the field. Jalen Hurts should have won Super Bowl MVP. He gets another chance. Don't miss. All right, let's go. Opening drive. Philly gets nothing. We get nothing. It's a battle of defenses. Opening score goes to the Kansas City Chiefs. Philly playing from behind. They score quickly. Probably just chucked up to A.J. Brown, who's uncoverable. I'll tell you right now, A.J. Brown, bad matchup for Trent McDuffie. Bigger, powerhouse corner. Opening the second half. Marching down the field. 10-10 ball game. And we get the touchdown to go up 7. Oh, there we go. Now we're just piling it on. Philly gets touchdown, 2-point conversion. Okay. Wow, and we just decided to go for it on 4th down. Win the game. Hopefully not another bullshit ticky-tack PI call against Philadelphia. But there's 4 straight. 1 Super Bowl versus Philly. Said I want it in Madden 25 to realistically rebuild all 32 teams. This means we got to rebuild the good teams. And with the DeAndre Hopkins trade, felt like a great time to just rip the Band-Aid off and do the Chiefs. Because did anyone seriously click on this video and think we weren't going to win the Super Bowl? We were going to win the Super Bowl a lot. Again, up the ante by saying we got to win a Super Bowl every year for the first 5 years as the ultimate challenge. At minimum, I need 4 and 5 because we're only going 5 years. We already got that Super Bowl win. 2-2. Great start. Let's see if we can just get... Who got MVP here? Would it be Mahomes? Pretty good. 2 touchdowns. You know, played a clean game. D-Hop. I love seeing D-Hop get a touchdown. Defensively, Chris Jones, 2 tackles and a sack. And honestly, I'd give it to Chris Jones. Stone Cold Jones, Super Bowl MVP. Good news is we got a little bit more salary cap. The bad news... Travis Kelce has decided to hang him up after 13 years. And I am once again asking the powers be at Madden, when guys retire, I should be able to hit A and look at his player card one last time and look at his stats one last time to kind of recap his career. Because you never know when someone's going to retire. You don't want to do it every single year in hindsight. So come on, I think we can add that feature, huh? Well, with Kelce retiring, it does allow us a little bit more wiggle room with some contracts. Oh. I don't think we pay Pacheco. We just don't pay running backs. Leo Chenal is awesome. So Tooney. I think in a perfect world, I could keep Tooney and Chenal. Oh, do you? What's the franchise tag on a line? About 20 mil? Done. 12 mil left. Not picking up the 5th-year option there. Oh, he wants 20 for 1 year. Okay, no, we'll look at Watson, 2 years. One last position we have to hit on in the draft. He'll be a decent starter. All right, so our 3 positions. I don't want to say running back's a position in need, but it's up there. We need running back, guard, safety. I'm going to pick one of each that I want to focus on. We have Kurt Howe. Again, it's not... I always want, when I can, is, you know, we're getting, I don't want to say late in the cycle here, but kind of late for me to drop tips, tricks, but it's just trust your letter grades. Look, Kurt Howe. I don't have much. Right currently, it's a blind pick. I feel pretty good. But he is A, pass blocking, A, run blocking. Let's just pretty much confirm that that guy's going to be a first-round talent. Same at running back. We know we like to look for archetypes, value, not necessarily high-end. You want power backs. You want power backs that have A carry, A break tackle. And look what we have here in Devontae Bankston. Blind pick, only 60% scouted, but he has A carry, A ball carry vision, B break tackle. He's probably going to end up being, you know, a first, second-round talent grade, if I'm guessing. See if we do the same at safety. What I want to look for a safety is, at minimum, you want to see B in a zone or man coverage. So we have Blake Nance. Interesting. He has A catching, B tackle. Okay. I'm not really seeing one that jumps on the page. I'd say between one of them, because Andrew Washington out of Texas has B man coverage, A awareness. But I'm a little intrigued by Nance. It's an interesting type. But let's see what we got here at strong safety. We have Elijah Brooks, who has B zone coverage, B catch. So that's kind of like a little bit of the best of both worlds. However, he's projected to go at pick 18, rank 18. Usually guys go fairly similar to that rank unless they're a bust and teams avoid them. So I think with that being said, I think Nance will be the guy we focus scout. And I bet all 3 of these guys are going to be, at worst, first, second round talents. All right, just out of curiosity's sake, let's see how well we did. At running back, the running back, ooh, second, third rounder on Bankston. Okay. A little bit wrong there. The center's got to be. Set top 5 pick. Yeah, absolutely. And then what do we got at the safety? I'm going to say first, second round. Second, third round. Okay. My method might have got... I mean, that's still not brutal. But my method might have just got exposed in real time. And in the same regard, I just also found a top 5 talent. Which is... we'll say we broke even. I don't think we're going to mess around. I picked 32 of the first round of the 2026 NFL Draft. I think we just grab that center. Grab that center, then we'll see, you know, what safeties are available. I mean, look at that. 4 A's across the board. Number 2 in true value, getting him at 32. Yep. Sometimes it's not that hard. So all the safeties that we were kind of interested in are off the board. It's not the end of the world. We have Shamari Connor at corner, who absolutely can play safety. So with that being said, is there a corner that kind of stands out here? Now, it's blind picked range. So the value corner, sometimes there's A-man, A-press. And look at this guy right here. George Kirkpatrick. It's late day 3, but he is A-press, B-zone. Kind of a weird role to get both those. But, I mean, we could come back to him. Or we have... Maybe if Telfair has a good combine, this might be our last chance. He has B-man, B-press. He's also first in the 4. Well, there you go. This will be our guy. What do we got? 48 true value at 64. No depth trait, but I imagine he'll add some cover that will allow us to take Shamari Connor, who's now up to a superstar depth, and move him to safety and just really overall strengthen the DB room. All right, so we're going to kind of come back to, can we find a gem at running back? And I got 2 that are interesting. One is Sheldon Hayward out of Arkansas State. Got B's across the board. What's the combine? Ran a 4.45. Okay. Good bench press. That in comparison with Rick Allen, who was A ball carry vision, B break tackle at a Baylor. 5'10", ran a 4.44. So, I mean, they're very similar. You're kind of... B carrying, B to C carrying. You know, we get A bulk carrier vision and A trucking. There's not much else separate them. And I'll be honest with you, Carson Steele for the brand, I think I'd be fun. You know, I'll bring in Hayward just to see if we could chase someone here and get a good value. But I'm totally down with Carson Steele becoming our lead back. Say that. And that's, yay. It's not a bad blind pick. After the running back pick, I let the sim just kind of follow my board, and we did get 2 of the targets I was looking at. We have Newsome late, 67, with a dev trait here out of Mizzou. He had elite strength, which again, just tendencies that stand out. And then we got Ogletree, same deal, 92 strength. Into day 3 was the strongest remaining player out of Kansas State, 68, with a star dev trait. So the rich get richer late. Looking at our homegrown picks that I felt confident, 60, that's a little bit... kind of a disappointing rating there for Hayward out the gate, but again, just more so kind of flexing, or as the kids say, in my bag with the hidden dev traits. It's what we're chasing. Telford, normal dev, but 73, so that still represents pretty good value in the second round. And then obviously we get the number 2 player in the class. Number 2, I want to go see number 1. 81 superstar dev center for Kurt Howe. So unfortunately, we have Creed Humphrey, who's one of the best centers in the league. So with this, at 310, Kurt Howe, congratulations. You are now a left guard. Figure it out. Oh, and by making him a left guard, he goes from 81 to an 83 and likely makes him the number 1 player in the class, which it does. He was tied with Zach Davidson, the corner here at A&M, but here we go. So here's our team lines up, going into year number 3 as we look for our 5th straight Super Bowl in a row, going back to IRL. Mahomes still 99. We're going to go with Carson Steele as our RB1 for the brand. We have Rice, Worthy, and DeAndre Hopkins still crushing it. Suamadia, Howe, Humphrey, kick Jawan Taylor into guard. We have Jones, last year's first-round pick at right tackle. Great time to get Mason Taylor when we did last year in the second round as Kelsey retired in the offseason. So now we have a 77 star, well, playing like a 78 star dev replacement at the get-go. On the defense, kind of shuffling things around a little bit. Ogletree, late picks, actually get a start next to Chris Jones. We have Dan and Karlaftis at pass rush. Styles, Chanel, and Tranquil. Both Styles and Tranquil did lose dev traits, so I guess that is something worth monitoring. We have Hicks and Connor at safety with McDuffie, Watson, and Muhammad at corner, which I feel all right about that. Definitely not the strongest secondary in the league, but again, overall, we're going to be pretty tough to beat. Coming over by you, 3 undefeated. 6-0. Number 2 offense, number 1 defense. Yep. And now we actually finally have a little bit of breathing room when it comes to our salary cap. $103 million. So with that, we probably will let Tranquil go at 31. I don't want to rule out a... I want to see where he's at. If he goes 1,000, if he gets us 1,000, Carson Steele, baby, he's going to be our running back. Close things out. Mike Dan is replaceable. Azuma, 2 years. We only got 2 years left, so let's... Anything over 2 years is locking in for the rest of the rebuild. Shamari Connor, great role player. 3 years, locked him in. Role player. Hell, he's a superstar now. He's a starter. Trent McDuffie, easy contract. 4 years, $86 million. Don't even think about it. 65 left. We got Rashee Rice, who's kind of just been a 1,000-yard playmaker for us. And we also don't know. This could be the last hurrah for DeAndre Hopkins. So we want to keep him in the building. I feel like Karlaftis is our best shot at getting big-time sack numbers. He has the skill set to do so. We'll get Leo Chenal locked in. And honestly, still enough to pay Carson Steele if he meets our parameters for a new contract. But that being said, we are going to be looking for a new guard and a depth pass rusher for this upcoming draft. Number 1 offense, number 2. We want 16. Who's the one? We want 16-1. I'm going to say Baltimore. Like, did we play the Ravens? Chargers could also be a sneaky L. Let's see. 1. Okay, so we beat the Niners. Beat the Chargers. Dolphins. Oh, 16-1. It would be pretty cool, honestly. Pretty cool. Is it really that cool? It'd be an accomplishment to get a 17-0 on the books while we're here. But Mahomes, first in yards, first in touchdowns, only 2 picks. And he actually went for 62 touchdowns. Carson Steele gets his 1,000 yards, so we're going to look to give him a contract in the year. 1,400 yards, 17 touchdowns for DeAndre Hopkins. Yep, 12 and 16 for Rashee Rice, 1,012 for Xavier Worthy. Mason Taylor at tight end, first year stepping up to replace Travis Kelce. Oh, don't worry, I'm just going to lead the Chiefs in receptions, get 1,000 yards and 8 touchdowns, and likely a dev trait from star up to a superstar. Defensively, sack numbers are still, I mean, not ridiculous. 10.5 for Chris Jones, leads the team. Interception numbers are up as Jabbar Muhammad and Shamari Connor both in new roles. First-time starters at their specific roles. 4 picks each, 3 from Jaden Hicks. What a cheat code team, man. Unreal. Patrick Mahomes wins his second MVP of the rebuild, and I'm going to assume a Coach of the Year for Big Red. Patrick Mahomes wins Offensive Player of the Year and Quarterback of the Year, and for the sake of why we're doing this rebuild, pretty cool that as now like an 80 overall, already showing massive signs of regression, DeAndre Hopkins gets Wide Receiver of the Year as a member of the Chiefs. Just in case, this is the last hurrah, so we don't miss it like we did with Kelce. 1,200 receptions, 16,000 yards, 129 touchdowns for D-Hop. Our first victim likely is going to be the 9-8 Denver Broncos, who barely made the playoffs and don't really have many redeeming qualities. And they got to come on the road, try and end this dynasty, and they just could not. Player of the Week performance goes from Mahomes with, doesn't have 2 picks, but almost over 400 yards, 5 total touchdowns. He's unstoppable. What do you have last? Like 6 in the Super Bowl or something? Or was it the AFC Championship last year? It's ridiculous stat lines. But we got Buffalo now in the AFC Championship game again. Still probably one of the few teams I think have a shot at upsetting this dynasty. And it looks like we're going to have a Cowboys-Chiefs Super Bowl. We get 3 touchdowns from Mahomes, Chris Jones, a sack, and a forced fumble. Somehow, Niners get Offensive and Defensive Player of the Week in a L. But there is the ABC Super Bowl. Anybody but the Chiefs or Cowboys. We beat the Bills 28-21. Both quarterbacks played very well. Josh Allen can kind of hold his head up high a little bit. Worthy, look, there we go. D-Hop. Veteran, savvy vet, getting after it. Got a bunch, 4 or 5 sacks on the day. That's probably the difference maker here. And then we get the Super Bowl that no one really wants to see if you watch enough rebuilds. The Dallas Cowboys, 9-8. Pretty bad ratings. Top 3 passing yards. Everything else, not great. This should be an ass kicking, honestly. But there's a team that's equally as cheesy. Would be the Dallas Cowboys. And looking at it right now, low scoring, no points in the first. Dallas scores, we score. And looking to get points at the end of the first half. This is where most teams get field goals. Looks like Kansas City says, we'll just score a touchdown. And then we're going to get the ball to start the second half and then score a touchdown. And then Dallas going to kick a field goal, but then we're going to go score a touchdown. But it's 2 straight tutties from Dallas, making it close. But it just, what happens? You cannot let Patrick Mahomes touch the ball last in a Super Bowl. He will either kill the game off or score on you in 4 seconds. There's no in between. That is the 5th straight Super Bowl for the Kansas City Chiefs. 3rd straight in this rebuild. And we still have a chance 5 for 5. God damn it. Why are they so good? Like, who programs this? It's like, yeah, this is fine. This is a great state of... They just walk to the Super Bowl every year. And then, like, that makes sense, right? That's not fun. Coders, Madden dev team. Can we have other teams be good? And then also, it's just real life. They just do this all the time in real life. So then, you know, the Madden side of things, like, well, we're just making it realistic. Kansas City's always there. And you got to go, oh, yeah, I guess you're right. Get Mahomes as MVP on to year 4. And as promised, holding on my end of the agreement, 1,000 yards for Carson Steele. He's our running back of the future. Crocky J over here. As we start the 2027 NFL Draft, pause here to give us a little bit of a second. We need a starting guard to replace Jawan Taylor. Could use a linebacker, need a corner. So, no, I'm not going to necessarily say we need a corner, but it'd be nice to get one. We got 2 first-rounders. In terms of talent, we have Calvin McCoon. We have Sean Sheldon. We got Ramon Lewis. Corner now was the position we also focus scout. Now, you'd love to be able to get away and have like a first-round corner late. For linebacker, I'm actually really surprised we didn't get crazier value on Fulton, who had A, awareness, A, tackle, A zone, B man, B pursuit when I scouted him. I still think there's a great shot that he's a great player. And then on the offensive line front, you got, 3 guys that have A pass block. Right? Now, run block, not the best. But A's usually are pretty good. So we have 3 guards that have A's. 4 if you count Isaiah Vernon, who is A awareness, A pass block, B run. Like, that's the guy you would want. And where's he going? Is he going in the 70s? He's going at 98, so we can wait and get him. So we're going to go out and grab a corner. We got to make sure we get the best one. We have McCoon, who's 6'3", A, 3 Bs, 4.34 elite speed. I almost don't even need to look at the other guy, but we will. Sean Sheldon, A-man, A catching, B-zone, C-press. Combine's also pretty good. 7 and 13 in the 3-cone and 20-yard shuttle. And McCoon. Oh, there's a guy. Better athlete. And what do we get here? Number 12 in true value at pick. Ooh, okay. Probably should have went with the other guy. In the second round, we're going to get Isaiah Verner here. A pass block, A awareness, B run block. Sus bench press. Athletically speaking, though, very good player. 81 in true. Wow. Get the dev trait, but in terms of value, not getting the double whammies here for our first 2 picks. The board fell very nicely as we also get a swing here at Fulton, who I refuse to believe he's a 3rd, 4th rounder. 114, we get him at 96. What? Really? Look at our class. Not, as good as I would say the first 2. We got Eddie Chambers, 73. Fulton, 70 normal. Verner, 72 with a dev trait. And McCoon, 77 normal dev. Looking at the rest of the class, really just want to see what the other corner was. I better not see him right here. Okay, Daniel Miles, 84 center. What is with the centers? Back-to-back years, interior line, one of the best players. There's an 84 running back, Mitch Beasley, went in the 2nd round. Lambert, 82. Craig, 80. And there's the... Who's the corner that we passed on? Could have went in the 2nd round. Oh, that's good value. Was it Stevenson? No. Wasn't you. Sheldon. 7. Don't have a dev. Both would have been normal. Okay. I can live with that. What else is new? Well, actually, there is something that is kind of new. We're 6 and 3 here, coming off our Week 10 bye in Year 4. However, how the sausage is made is not as high quality ingredients. Because you look at the rankings, defensively pretty good, but the offense, what the hell's that about? Not good in pretty much anything. After, for the most part, for 3 seasons, having an elite offense. Now, this is our last in-house free agency period. We have $48 million. I mean, we got to, 1 year for DeAndre Hopkins. I don't want to say he's probably. Let's be optimistic he does not retire, but there's a chance he retires. We got Jalen Watson on a 1 year. I mean, he's been very serviceable. We got Jaden Hicks. He's looking for 4. Creed Humphrey's looking for 3. Suamadi is looking for 8. I think we might be able to get Creed and Hicks. Suamadi is going to be a tough one. 16 a year. He's going to probably look for 25. He's looking for 25 a year. We'll see. Maybe, maybe someone retires. But the fact that there's very little re-sign interest, I have my doubts we can make that work, and we might be looking at Year 5, need a new franchise left tackle. It's not ideal. But at the end of Year 4, we figured out, we finished the top 3 offense. However, top 10 at number 10 for passing yards, and outside the top 10, coming in number 20 for rushing yards. Definitely off the mark for where we've been. We also finished with the number 1 overall defense. We go 14 and 3 and win our 4th straight AFC West as we get that first round bye locked up. 14 and 3 for the juggernaut. However, I was gonna say I expected a little bit of regression. Not really. Patrick Mahomes first in the league in passing touchdowns. 48 touchdowns to 3 picks. Carson Steele, not much of a run game going on there. Xavier Worthy, 1,000 yards. Mason Taylor. DeAndre Hopkins, under 1,000, but double-digit touchdown. Same with Rashee Rice. Defensively, Leo Chenal, tackle machine with a $130. 8 sacks, and Udike Uzuma, 7 for Chris Jones, 7 for Karlaftis. Not great numbers. 4 picks from McDuffie leading the team. Yeah, kind of, it's kind of been what it's been for the last 4 years. We get our third MVP of the video for Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes being quarterback of the year is our only award outside of the app. Again, in case he retires, 1,273 receptions, 17,000 yards, and 140 touchdowns for D-Hop. And the first round of the playoffs, team we've yet to see in the playoffs that I definitely consider one of the better teams in the AFC in Madden 25, and that is Cincinnati Bengals. We have a top 10 offense-ish, pretty close to it, and a top 10 defense. So it's, you know, Joe Burrow can definitely light up a scoreboard. Usually doesn't turn the football over, but we're able to win. And again, look, it's the Ravens again. Jesus. Who we're seeing. Patrick Mahomes gets player of the week. On the offense side of the ball, 347 yards passing, 4 touchdowns in a, I assume, I'm going to guess, 10-point minimum win over the Bengals. More than that. 45-24, setting up an AFC Championship game here against the Baltimore Ravens, the 4 seed. On the other side, that would be an absolute bloodbath. I'd love to get another chance to beat my beloved Philadelphia Eagles in a Super Bowl. Plus, much as this pains me to say, Philly's usually an easier team to get a dub over than the Dallas Cowboys are. But we got to, you know, we can't just assume we're going to beat the Ravens again. Maybe this will be the time. Lamar Jackson can defeat the Kansas City Chiefs. They're 11-6. They actually have a better defense, rating-wise and performance-wise, I think, than us. They can run the football well, but they haven't really ran the football well against us. They haven't done a great job stopping our passing attack. Dallas defeats the Philadelphia Eagles 37-22. And on our side, is it? It is, unfortunately, another L for Lamar Jackson. The Ravens 28-24. The Chiefs with 14 points scored in the fourth quarter. We get a perfect performance from Patrick Mahomes. Almost 300 yards, 3 touchdowns, no picks. Carson Steele gets in the end zone. D-Hop in what could be his final hurrah, 114 yards and a touchdown on 8 catches. Defensively, Jalen Watson, 13 tackles, 3 TFLs, a sack from Ogletree and Fulton, the young playmakers right there. And the Super Bowl finally has been... I've never seen that before in Madden. Have you guys ever seen a Chiefs-Cowboys Super Bowl? I haven't. Oh, yeah, that was the Super Bowl last year. A rematch right away. Man, a 96 overall offense for the Kansas City Chiefs. That's pretty scary. All right, is someone finally going to beat us? It's almost at this point like, who's going to do it? I hope it's not Dallas, but it's always like, come on. Somebody got to end this reign of terror. Imagine if we were doing something else. Imagine if we were rebuilding any other team and we're literally just like, oh, the Chiefs have won 4 straight Super Bowls, which obviously we have to seal the deal here to do that. It'd be like, okay, that's absolutely insane. All right, 21-21. Tied ball game in the fourth. It's going to set itself up. Tie game. Patrick Mahomes gets the ball last, and we know what happens. 2-minute warning. 2-11. Can they stop Mahomes? Or are we going to go 4 for 4? And look at this. We're going just marching our way down the field. Not only marching our way, but we take the points. Kick the field goal. 11 seconds for the Cowboys. Now, 4th straight Super Bowl. 6 technically straight Super Bowl. 4th of the rebuild. But 2nd straight Super Bowl win over Dallas. And at least, at minimum, if we're enduring just the bleh of success of the Chiefs, which, let's be honest, again, while it's a topical video to see DeAndre Hopkins, to see kind of how D-Hop finishes his career on a juiced-up offense, what else were you expecting? Now, maybe you weren't expecting 4 straight Super Bowls with a chance to go 5 for 5. Very rare, very difficult to do. But it's not like I've had to completely... There hasn't been a whole lot that I've had to do here. Hasn't been autopilot. We've drafted well. But it's just kind of been maintaining the Chiefs roster. It's all I've had to do. Now it's time. Year 5. Can we make it 5 Super Bowls in a row? And I guess maybe actually the first hurdle is, will DeAndre Hopkins run the full rebuild and come back for 1 more year? Hopefully he will. You son of a bitch. He's back. Let's go. You know, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to franchise tag Suamadia. And that's how we get him to run it back for 1 more year. Let's go. For a final first round pick, I want a safety. That's what I need. I've been kind of flexing DBs around. I think the easiest fix is just outright get a safety. And now we're going to do the funnest thing possible. And that is blind pick. We got B on McGriff. Okay. B on McGriff, but we don't know much else. We also have B here on Bryce McLeod. A catching, B zone, C tackle. What's the combine saying? I like the 3-cone 20-yard shuttle on McLeod. What else do we got? We got Bart Rhodes. Man zone, B-man. We got, ooh, Shaquille Sims. A-man coverage, huh? There's the tiebreaker. Come on, number 4 in true value at 32. Let's go. It's that easy. Please. Use what you see here and apply it in your own franchise modes, please. And then send people back to my channel so they can also do good and you lose your advantage. Please do that for me. All right, so look at our final draft recap. We got a hidden power back out of Central Michigan. Hey, did you guess that he had a carry, a break tackle? Able to bring him in. Superstar. I mean, we're still going with Carson Steele, but what a pick. Kind of just does it all if you want. But what's the depth chart on the safety? Number, what was he, 4 in true value? Would love to see something better than a star dev. I mean, at least the running back's a superstar. I know these guys are really going to play that much. But, you know, also, Sims will start. Walls will contribute. Luckily, we'll probably rotate in and out with Carson Steele. What's the top end of this class showing here? We got Moores and Gilliard at safety. Moores, pretty good. There we have it, year 5. The roster, pretty good. Drafted well, no real busts. Still got old DeAndre Hopkins. It's a 74 overall. I'm putting him in the slot cheese to pad his stats and just see where we can get him to finish all time. But it's Madden. But indications state that DeAndre Hopkins getting traded to the Chiefs is probably going to be pretty good. And at the end of year 5, well, we got a great opportunity to go 5-5. We go 13-4. We get our 5th straight divisional title. We have the number 2 offense. Our defense fell off a little bit. Top 10 rushing defense. But maybe starting to show signs of aging, if you will. But Mahomes playing at an incredibly high level. 2nd in passing yards. 1st in touchdowns again. We got 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns for Carson Steele. On the receiving standpoint, 4,000 yards. Mason Taylor, 105 catches, 12 and 14. 11 and 11 for the ageless wonder DeAndre Hopkins. 1,012 for Xavier Worthy and Rashee Rice. Like we almost had 4,000-yard double-digit touchdown. That's, I don't think I've ever seen that. Defensively, Leo Chenal continues to be the leader of that group. 8.5 sacks there for Chris Jones. Leads the team. 4 picks by the rookie Shaquille Sims. Anytime you can get that, you know, kind of production from a rookie contributing right away on a S-tier team, it's always a great role here in year 5. Ooh, okay. Could be a Super Bowl rematch. There's Jalen Hurts. Outduels Mahomes, apparently, for the MVP. Probably rushing touchdowns play a factor. Patrick Mahomes does win Offensive Player of the Year. Shaquille Sims gets Defensive Rookie of the Year. It obviously kind of goes hand in hand. Mahomes is also Quarterback of the Year in the AFC. And as we always like to do, recap what we've been able to accomplish over 5 years. Again, I can't make this what it's not. This video was made because I want to do all 32 teams. And this is maybe the most interesting in terms of like a roster move, time to do Kansas City. We knew they were going to be fucking nuts. And that's what we got. 42,000 yards passing, 464 touchdowns, 93 picks for Mahomes, 3 MVP awards, 4 straight Super Bowls, 5 straight divisional titles. He's, you know, and probably like in real life, there's a legit shot he goes down as the best player ever. He also is our leading rusher. 3,900 yards, 39 touchdowns. Carson Steele has been solid since he's been here. Look at the receiving numbers. Yeah, 18,000 for DeAndre Hopkins, 151 touchdowns, 6,165 for Rashee Rice, 5,348 touchdowns for Xavier Worthy, and Mason Taylor definitely stepped up into that Travis Kelce role. He's been awesome. It just makes you wonder, man, if D-Hop got here earlier, we'd be saying Jerry Rice is shaking his boots. We're going to break them records. Chris Jones, 140 TFLs, 124 sacks, 42.5 for Kalafdis. But I'd say, generally speaking, for how dominant this team has been, and usually they're very good defensively as well, sack and interception numbers, disappointing, to say the least, in this rebuild. And we got a chance, one more run. Our 92 overall Kansas City Chiefs starts against a divisional opponent, the 10-7 Denver Broncos. who come to town with a top 10 defense led by Patrick Surtain II. Sorry, not sorry. Just a little bump in the road. 400 yards, 4 touchdowns for Patrick Mahomes, as it is another AFC Championship game. This time it is the 10-7 Bills. Another team. Bills and Ravens taking a bunch of swings to try to take down the Chiefs here. No luck. Look at the Bills. They have the #1 defense in the league. Great offense versus great defense. Super Bowl on the line. What's going to happen? Well, the Rams win on one side. You didn't have a player of the week. I'm a little... Good for the... Hey. It would have been cool to go 5 for 5, just to say, like, yeah. But, you know what? Good we lost. Someone finally stops us from winning 5 straight Super Bowls. Good on you, Josh Allen. Put the team on his back. 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. Did it on the ground. D-Hop goes out swinging. Probably the best, most impressive performance from the Chiefs in this game. 5 catches, 135 yards, and a touchdown. But the dynasty of all dynasties ends at 6 straight Super Bowls. 4 in this rebuild for the great Patrick Mahomes, the great DeAndre Hopkins, and the Kansas City Chiefs. So there we go. Chiefs rebuild is done. I mean, there's an argument to be made. Yeah, Ravens. That's probably... I'm trying to think, like, which other rebuild is just going to be like, all right, clearly we're going to win. Let's just do it to get all of them done. I'd say probably Baltimore. Other than that, everything else is a little interesting, right? We already did Dallas with Aston Gentee. I suppose the Eagles are going to be probably pretty good whenever that time comes. But, I feel like upping the ante here, knowing that we're doing the Chiefs, knowing that it's going to be good, and also giving me that little back door of saying, all right, we'll give us 1 year that we can't win. At minimum, we need 4 Super Bowls. We hit those 4. Had a chance at 5. D-Hop was amazing. Things worked out fairly well. So thank you guys very much for tuning in to today's video. Please let me know in the comment section below which team we should rebuild next. Obviously, there's lots of trades. There's rumors like Cooper Kupp could be next. Like, that could be something that would be fun to explore. Where's he going to go? Tampa? Can't believe that as a Chris Godwin fantasy football owner. They had Chris Godwin in garbage. Okay. But Cooper Kupp could be on the move. Ahead of the trade deadline, there's definitely going to be rebuilds inspired by the trade deadline. But anything else you guys want to see, especially in relation to realistic rebuilds, so college players going to the NFL that you want to see, please let me know in the comment section below. Spam it, because you know what? It gives more comments on the YouTube robots. Appreciate that. Shut the video out to even more new people. It is your first time stopping by. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, as we're getting very close to 175,000 subscribers here on the channel. And that will do for me today, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time, it's your boy C4 saying peace out, love ya. Have a good one.